Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Nikki DeLoach.
Hi, guys. I'm Andrew Walker, and we are so excited for all of you to see our new signature mysteries, Curious Caterer Dying for Chocolate.
hmm So we have a couple of questions that Hallmark Movies and Mystery sent our way that we're going to be answering together. So, Andrew, do you want to get started?
Sure. Yeah, let's do
Sure.
this.
Okay, let's see what our
Sure.
first question is. All right. Okay,
All
first
right.
question. In Curious Caterer Dying for Chocolate, everyone in the town of Elk Park is a suspect when school therapist Laura is found dead. Can you tell us more about this new mystery and why the viewers will connect with this story? Do you want to jump in, Andrew?
Well, you said an so maybe you have something that you want to just fire off there. Nikki, did you want to?
You know my game. I always just throw all the questions to you.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. No, I'll start it off. I mean, this movie is nonstop action. It's like right from the get-go when the curtain opens, we're just
Yeah.
we take viewers on this journey and this suspense thriller ride, and I think it's something different that Hallmark is has decided to do, and Nikki and I just feel so fortunate to be a part of this project.
We do. I also think that everybody, like specifically, I can say with Goldie, I think everybody's going to connect to the idea of being like, we're all well, I don't know. For me, I love how curious she is. And I think I've shared that, I think that that's a lost characteristic in people, like just that curiosity of things. But I all think that we all have a little bit of a detective inside of us that I think will be really fun for people like in their own lives to do. And also I just think that they're going to be so excited, Andrew, to see you in such a different capacity. I mean, all of you guys have seen him be the charismatic, charming, kind, loving, handsome, which you're so handsome in it, like person that you are naturally, but like, they probably forget that you're also this actor with like a deep well to pull from. So you get to like go deeper in your character in this one, and they're going to see you in such a different light than they've ever seen you before. And I think audiences are going to love that. So I think that's a couple of things they're going to connect with. They're going to connect with Andrew Walker, basically.
Thanks, Nikki. Yeah, no, I think that there's certain people you get to work with that are kind of like your creative muses in life, and
Yeah.
you're that for me. And I feel like we work so it's just such an easy. We come from an athletic background in a way too, and just like
Mm.
a work ethic and there's a formula to success if you want to do your best work. And I think that we approach that from a very similar perspective. And you also having like Nikki, people might not know this about you, but you're an acting coach as well. So like this is you go so deep, and you have so many different layers that it's an amazing. I should be paying to be doing these roles with you.
You are
Don't quote me on that,
insane.
but yeah. I should.
You can pay me in food and the
There we go.
occasional beer, which I
Yeah.
appreciate.
Well,
Um,
I pay you in juice sometimes.
you do pay
Sometimes.
me in juice. You do send me juices, which I do. No, not sometimes. You send me a lot of juice, which I really appreciate. And you pay me with your friendship, which I
Uh,
cherish more than all of it. Thank you for saying those kind words. It's really true. We're so lucky because I feel the same way about you since day one when we met. It was like, shoo, you
yeah.
can't, there's nothing you can do to create that. So like of course you can do the work and you can find chemistry and you can find the moments and do all of that, but like that magic that just like happens, that's not something that you can create. It's either there or it's not, and we've always had that. So we're super lucky in that way, I think.
Yeah, and I think we had a conversation before jumping into this project. We said, we've done 3 movies already together. This is our fourth,
Mm-hmm.
and we have that trust from the audience. And fortunately, in previous movies we've partnered up, people have watched those movies and they've really enjoyed them. We've had some good numbers, so we decided to do something different here, and and we have that because we have that trust in the viewers. So I think that hopefully people will not watch this movie and just say, oh yeah, it's an Andrew Walker, Nikki DeLoach movie. They'll see it. They'll see it again for the first time, like eating Kellogg's Frosted Flakes.
Oh gosh, how long
Yeah.
has it been since you've had a Frosted Flake? It's been a really long time for me, but oh,
Well, I had them again like a month ago, and I was like,
did
oh,
you?
this is why that's where the whole thing, having Frosted Flakes again for the first time, is a whole new experience, because it's just it brings you back to when you were 10 years old again, and memories,
Yes.
and they taste great, especially with some
They
of the alternative milks now, coconut
great.
milk it tastes great. Yeah.
Great. Hold on, let's go to the second.
All right, moving on to the next question.
You take the next one. Read it to us. Give it to
Okay.
us.
Local caterer Goldie wants to do her part
Mm-hmm.
to uncover what happened to her good friend Laura, and so does Detective Tom. What qualities do we each like about our characters?
Oh, I'll start. I'll start. I love how curious she is. Okay, so I know I mentioned this to you, Andrew, but I was reading this article where professors were talking about like something that they struggle with, like one of the biggest things they struggle with their college students these days. And a lot of them are saying it's their lack of curiosity, right? Because we live in this world of social media where we're constantly being told the answers to everything, like what to wear, what to eat, how to think, all of these different things. So they keep bumping up against this kind of environment of kids going, I don't know, just tell us the answer. And it's in high school too. And I think that what has been lost is curiosity, right? And I think that's even in our dialogue with each other, we're so certain we know the answer to things. We're so certain that we're right. And I like fall privy to this. I've fallen privy to this a lot in my life. Well, what happens if we just like put aside our certainty about anything and then just get curious and ask, yeah, but why? And why do you think you did that? Or why do you think that happened? Or what made you, make this decision? Or, I think if we just ask the questions, right, then we're going to not only, like for Goldie, she actually figures out in the end, she comes close to figuring out, well, she does figure out who did this and why, which is on a very like big level, very intense level. We're talking about murder here, right? But in like a microcosm of your own life, I think it brings you closer to people, especially people that you may not see any connection with at first. Once you get talking, you get curious about their life and where they come from and why they believe the things that they do. What might have in the beginning started off as being a conversation that could have been like, you're different from me, and that's just it, and we'll probably never be friends, can be, oh, I understand you now more. And even though we're very different in all these other ways, now we can be connected because I know who you are and I know why you live your life the way that you do. And I think we are really lacking that in our society. And it's my favorite quality about Goldie, hands down. And it just reminds me in my own life, she reminds me just to stay so curious. What about you, Andrew?
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
People should, it's interesting having kids the ages that we have kids, like that curiosity, especially for a 7-year-old in West, or six and a bit year old. He's always asking me about certain things and why things happen a certain way, and what's the fastest jet, what's the fastest bird, what's the fastest animal on the planet, and like I love that curiosity. It's true. Yeah. We have Google at the tip of our fingers, which actually is an interesting tool, but you never want to lose that curiosity. You never want your children to lose that curiosity. And I think acting is an interesting thing where, like, we have to be curious, as actors. Yeah. You have to ask the questions. The more questions you ask, the more you uncover in the story and the roles you're playing. I think my favorite thing about Tom is the challenges that he has to overcome, and the constant challenges that he is overcoming still. When you really like peel back the layers of who he is, and not that we can really go to that place on Hallmark, but some of the projects that I was watching on your you requested or telling me about it was Mayor of Easttown.
Yeah.
Mayor of Easttown, True Detective. you know, and when
Mm-hmm.
you really think about what a detective goes through or a police officer. So Tom came from San Francisco. He left San Francisco, or he was leaving San Francisco because the city had changed. There was a lot more crime, which is true. Anybody that goes to San Francisco now, they, you know, it's definitely a changed city right now. Um, but you know, you really start to peel back the layers of what he actually saw as a
Mm-hmm.
detective, or what he's seen, and it's not pretty, man. You have to process this stuff as a person. I have, my cousin is a police officer. He was an ex police officer now, retired police officer now, and he was in Ontario, Canada. And you know, he was an OPP. He was a patrolman, and he saw a lot of bad stuff. And he would mask
Mm.
it with comedy. He's a really funny guy. But you actually have to say to yourself, you're like, what's behind that? And like, are you talking to somebody professional to process it, like somebody going overseas, going to, you know, to fight for for this country, or for any other country for that matter? And just what we see on the front lines is really tough stuff. And on top of it, Tom's going through a recent divorce. You know, he had moved from San, or was committing to Elk Park because his wife wanted to come back to Elk Park, and she was originally from there. And then when he decided to move, she didn't move with him. So he's processing a lot, and so he really wants to do right by this case. It's the biggest case that's come through the county, and while he's been detective, and he doesn't want Goldie stepping on his toes. He just doesn't want anybody else to interfere. He's got it. He's a confident guy. He's really professional, and and so I love that polished sense of like the chaos, a bit of the chaos in his head, but on the facade, he's trying to hold it all together. So
Mm.
I like that. I love like Bruce Willis's characters. You know, I
Oh
guys that are
yeah.
a little broken, but on the facade, they're just like they're holding it together. You know, and just
Oh,
makes
the
for
cover.
much more complex. Yeah, yeah.
The cover is so fun to play.
Cover.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay, number three. Goldie has a great relationship with everyone in the community, and Tom realizes she can be an asset to help solve the case. Can you tell us a little more about their working relationship? Well, I don't know that you think I'm
What
an
working
asset in the
relationship?
beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you think like I'm like a little gnat that just like that won't stop buzzing away around, and
Yeah.
you can't like I seem to be 10 steps ahead of you everywhere you go. I've already shown up and I've already arrived at that place. And then I think in the beginning as well, it's like, not that you necessarily think that I would have, like, at first even done something. It's like, I'm also a suspect. Like, anybody's a suspect to a detective. And you haven't been in this community, your whole life like I have, right? So it's like, anybody could have done this. Anybody can be a suspect. And I keep showing up in these places because I'm following my own clues and my desire essentially to like, this was a person that I cared about dearly. And I think in the beginning you just think that I'm a real nuisance.
Yeah, and this is for sure I do, for sure I do, and this is, it's not your typical Hallmark movie formula where if you're taking a 120-page script, usually if this is a one-off film, you're starting to see that budding relationship form on page 42 or 45 or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
In this movie, it could be on page 350. So, for us, that just playing it against that,
Yes.
your instincts of what would be the instincts of us having a little bit of a closer or like opening our hearts up to each other a little earlier. We have to go against that, and so yeah, our working relationship. I think it was so much fun though to not have a working relationship and to always think that you're, well, we do eventually. You
Yeah.
prove to me, and reluctantly do I admit that you're actually an asset. But then we start having fun,
Yeah.
nearing the end of the movie, and it's kind of that, you don't want to admit it, but yeah, you might, maybe you can hang around a little bit, maybe I do need you a little bit. And I think an
A
ease factor
lightness.
to
Yeah.
a lightness to Tom, you know, and I think that he sees that as almost therapeutic in a way.
That's true. I think that's really true. Um, yeah, I love that. Okay, you take the next one.
All right. Viewers are excited to have us reunite on screen. Are you guys?
Yay!
How is it working together on another project and starring in our first Hallmark mystery movie?
Ah, some things feel like jobs and some feel like joy, and this felt like joy from start to finish. It truly did. I don't know about you, buddy, but like I had such a blast on this movie. Like I had a blast doing something different with you. I had a blast like not having to, like you said, focus constantly on tracking the romance, right? I
Yeah.
think one of our executives like said it best. Like these are two adults. These are two adults who, you know, are put together in a very unusual circumstance, right? And they kind of become friends before anything or anything could potentially even down the road happen. They become friends first. They become allies in this situation and get to know each other in a very unusual way. Um, and that was really fun to play. And yeah, and instead of crying about, you know, losing the boy, I get to cry over losing, you know, not to give any too much away, losing a friend. And all of those little things, I think that it was just it was just a lot of fun to explore that in a different way with you. um it was so much fun, and the night
So much.
shoots, and Tony, our director, like he was just such a made everything such a joy, and our producers Michael and Alex. um Tony just like he before every take he would go energy, energy.
Yeah, yeah,
um
energy and energy.
Energy, energy. But that was the vibe. That was the vibe all the
Yeah.
way through. It was just like energy and fun. And that's why I think like even our post, you know, it's like we're doing a mystery and it's a murder and it's dark and it's all of this, but all of our posts are silly because like we're having a blast doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that you touched on pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about. But you know, just to bring it back to again, the cast, the crew, the supporting cast,
Mm-hmm.
and the producers, and you know everyone involved made this such an enjoyable project to be a part of, and really gave us the ability to bring what we wanted to bring to the table. And even though we were going for something a little different, there everyone supported us right down to the execs at Hallmark, you know, who
Yeah.
were, you know, so supportive. And so yeah, I mean, people have to know this too, Nikki, that like on a daily basis, would you and I look at each other and like, and just before the scene starts, you'd be like, can you believe this? Can you believe what we're doing right now? I can't believe it. You know, it's like we
Because
just
it was
like,
always our dream to like
it was
get
always our dream
on
to do a mystery, to
to
do a
do a
mystery
mystery
movie.
together, and
Yeah,
potentially one that could go. By the way, everybody tune in and watch. If everybody
please
watches, we get to do another one of these maybe.
tell your
But like this was
cousins, tell
this
your
was
aunts.
yeah, tell your aunts and uncles and sisters and cousins and brothers. But this was something that you and I had talked about and been wanting to do together for a really long time. So that was also super special.
So special, so
Couldn't
special.
believe
Not
it.
one day that went by that I don't think we like actually like threw up some gratitude. And we you
Mm-hmm.
know, Nikki is a little, she's not a little, she's got like this witchiness about her, and so like manifestations that she creates are very powerful. And she told me a couple years ago, she's like, we're doing a mystery wheel together. And I was like, oh, we're doing a mystery wheel together. Okay. Yeah, yeah, we are. This is going to come at a certain point. She's like, oh, I'm writing it. And if it's not going to be the one that I'm writing, it's going to be another one. We're doing this together. I'm like, yes, Nikki, thank you for putting that up there in the universe. I just had to wait. I just had to wait.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well,
I love
man,
it.
we both got really, really lucky with this one. Do you have the next one or do I have the next one?
I think you do.
Okay, I do. Okay. We both have posted photos and videos of us on set together. Can we share any fun behind the scenes stories while filming?
Um, there's just so many funny stories. It's just, I mean, I think like what we had just previously said is, how many times in a day do we just yell at each other and go, I can't believe this, I can't believe this, and
Also, we had funny characters on this one too. I mean,
we did.
think about some of our of our supporting actors, right? They were just
Yeah.
like funny and
Riley, who plays my who Riley, who plays Mason, for people when they see it, Riley Davis is his name. I had said to Nikki before we started this movie, I was like, this Mason character is arguably one of the more important characters in the movie, because we have to have this rapport, and he also has to play off Nikki, and and it has to be natural, and Riley had me in stitches, like the stuff that he would say.
He was great.
He was so great, and he's so talented, and so I can't wait for people to see his performance in this. But yeah, we did have such funny supporting characters, and anything in particular, Nikki, that you can think of some funny stories for this one?
Well, I mean, I went to my first indoor dinner. It's not necessarily funny, but it was very, very big for me, which was really nice. And to Antonio, so Antonio, who plays Brad, he also is a co-owner in like 3 different restaurants in Vancouver. So we went to one of his restaurants, which was so wonderful and so fun.
And some people might be thinking Antonio Cupo, but it's actually Antonio Cayon is his name. Yeah.
Who's so lovely. We had just a great supporting cast, and who was the guy that played Jason. Oh my gosh, what a character. So, we don't have any we worked these hours were pretty crazy on this one, so it was a lot of work, not a lot of playtime afterwards. At least for me, it wasn't. But the characters and the people that filled up the screen were just full of life, and they were hilarious, and I mean, kept me laughing so much of the time. And I think In the Woods was really fun when we were doing all that chase sequence stuff in the woods, and that was really cool. It was freezing. I probably had on 40 layers of clothes. It was so cold. So the things that we would do,
you did have 40 layers.
We were jumping up and down to try to warm up and keep our breath and keep it. I mean, oh my gosh, all of that.
Our bodies. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Let's go on to the next one.
All right. This cast is amazing. Viewers will recognize Antonio Cayon.
There you go.
Monroe from other Hallmark movies. Look at that. How is it being able to work with them and the rest of the cast?
I mean, we were just talking about this. They were so good. Every single person, all of them. Just tremendous actors, by the way. I mean, Lachlan, come on.
Lachlan's he has 300 credits. This guy, we were so fortunate to get him. I think we were so fortunate to get all these people, and they were available, and and them each one individually could carry their own movie, but it just so happens that they were all in ours, and so yeah, it was great working with him. I had worked with Antonio a long time ago, and that's how I was introduced to his first restaurant. But
he's so lovely.
He's so lovely, and Lachlan is just a hoot.
He is a hoot.
Yeah. Riley said that one. Riley had that one funny story. He goes, Lachlan was fast asleep in the green room, and then the AD comes in and says, "Okay, Lachlan, you're up." And then he just basically opened his eyes and then looks to Riley and goes, "Watch a pro." And then he leaves, or this is how a pro does it. And then he leaves the room, but immediately opened his eyes and he was ready for game day.
He had so many funny stories because he's worked on like you said, he's got 300 credits. Yeah. So I just loved hearing all of his stories from different things he's working on. I mean, he was hysterical, and talk about talent. I believe that anybody can play comedy, can do anything. And he's such a brilliant comedic actor as well. you guys, I mean, seriously, probably one of the best supporting casts, like as a whole, like everyone that I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
They were phenomenal. We were very lucky. Okay, let's see. What's the next one? There are a lot of thrilling moments in the movie, from Goldie sneaking into houses to her and Tom getting chased through a dark forest. Without giving any spoilers, do we each have a favorite scene we can't wait for the viewers to see?
I have one. It's I think um, we and it's just it's more because of the input that we had in you really, Nikki, the blocking that we did in it. Like there was a
Ah,
couple scenes where we would go into in the at the police department where
mm,
there was, you know, we're working in small quarters, and you know we would show up and then we'd have the blocking. We and this is what I loved about working with Tony, the director, is he would say, well guys, look, this is the blocking that I see in my head, why don't you guys do the scene and tell us where you feel you'd be at certain times. And you know, we had gone through these lines so many times before. We just it was so by rote that we were just like in it, and we could, the speed in which we would like rotate and move around and be trying to figure out, you know, there was one scene in particular that I'm thinking of, and I'm blanking on the specifics of it, but basically the scene could have been really stagnant, and it could have just been a sit down, you know, just a sit and speak. But we were, you know, we were up and going to the whiteboard and like shuffling things around. Then
yeah.
you would go to the whiteboard and then do a few things, and I'd go back, sit down again, and then so there was a lot of energy and motion and like doing this dance with you in a lot of these scenes that I just felt like we had the ability to play with. And so there's a couple scenes in particular that I think we really were able to do that in. And I can't wait to see how it turned out.
Mm-hmm. Me too. I feel like it's much more interesting to see movement, right? Because that's how we are in spaces. We're moving, we're doing something. There's always a primary, secondary focus. I'm either cooking and talking, or I'm looking through something and doing something in my life. And it always feels really weird when you get on a movie and then all of a sudden you're like, stand still, say the words. Like, you're like, that's
Yeah.
not how people are. So we got so lucky with Tony that he wanted movement, that's how he saw everything, so that you also earn the moments when you're standing still and you're anchoring in and you're having an intense scene. You
Yeah.
earn you earn those beats with the audience, because that's not what you're doing the entire movie. So the fact that Tony allowed us to have this playful space of rotation, and then we just worked our booties off, to be honest, to make our days. And even if it was a little longer, we didn't care, because we wanted it to be the best that it could be. And so that's really fun. And I think that, like, I really think that people are going to love the chase through the forest. I think that people are going to love you and me when we start to kind of come together. Like, I love that scene in The Office where you know, it's dark, it's at the party, Andrew,
Yeah.
and you and I kind of like come together. Well, you sneak up on me first of all, but then we
Yes.
kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
come together and we start doing our like detective work together. I think that's
Yeah.
some of the fun stuff that I think people are gonna really enjoy.
I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
Okay.
And Tony didn't kind of paint us into a corner where we would
No.
show up on set and then we would have there'd already be like tracks set up and a stagnant camera. He would say, "Hey guys, come to set first. Let's
Yeah.
block this." And I love that. It was great. It was great.
Oh, he was so fun to work with. I
Yeah, he
loved
was so
it.
much fun.
Okay. Next
Okay.
question. It's yours.
Is mine? Okay.
Yeah.
As our characters get closer to solving the case, dark secrets start to unravel from some of the residents that place them as the prime suspect. Can we each give a clue the viewers should be on the lookout for as they
Ooh.
sleuth along while watching?
A clue. I mean, without giving it away?
Well, I mean, it's a clue would be the even the closest people are
Yes, yes,
potentially
yes,
suspects.
yes.
That's the beauty
Nobody
of this
is off
movie.
limits.
Nobody's off limits. So the
Mm-hmm.
closer the people are to us, there
I
could
will
be
also say,
potential.
here's another clue, Andrew. When I was reading the script, I didn't guess who it was.
Me too. You're right.
Like I didn't get,
Yep.
I did not guess who it was,
Yep.
which I was surprised about. I thought the writer did a really good job with that. And our executives at Hallmark did a really good job of like hiding that, because I was actually surprised.
Yeah.
Um,
Me too. Me too. I was,
I
and
think that's all we can give them.
I was hoping that I was going to be surprised too, which was great, and it
Yeah.
delivered. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we can give them anything else.
That's
Sorry,
it.
guys. I'm sorry.
That's it.
We don't want to spoil it.
Sorry,
Okay,
not
Goldie is
sorry.
Goldie is known to be one of the town's best local caterers, and there were many delicious dishes featured throughout the movie. Did we each have a favorite dessert? You guys, I'm gonna share something that's probably a little disappointing. I don't eat dessert. I don't like sugar. It actually I could never eat it as a kid because it made me like actually insane. And so my mother never gave it to me, therefore I never craved it. And as an adult, I don't really eat sugar. I guess if I had to pick a dessert, there's two things that I really love. One of them is this chocolate chip like skillet pie that my one of my best friends who's a chef Megan Mitchell, you should follow her on Instagram, that she makes. And then every once in a while I like if it's really well done, like a really good cobbler. But I will also say, I just have to shout out Michael, our producer. You're a little different. You like sweet. You like a little bite of sweet, Andrew. But our
Yeah, just
producer,
a
yeah,
little.
you're very good about it. But you like I'll find like little wrappers, or like where you're sitting.
Andrew's been here.
Yeah, they're just like little pieces of something sweet that you just want to like. But our producer Michael is actually like, he is really good in a kitchen, and he can cook almost anything. And his wife, remember, she does those like artisan like bakery, like,
Yes.
remember that? So like he actually I think it looks really good. The food and everything is pretty much on point. He taught me how to properly like cut like or chop with a knife, like as like a chef does. So we were like really
What was it,
mindful
like
of
holding
all
the
of the
blade?
things.
You hold the
Yeah,
blade?
so
Yeah.
you hold it like this, yeah, and you like, cut it a specific way. To I just wanted to call that out because he was like, they were very mindful about the food and making sure the food looked great and looked like a chef prepared it. But what's your favorite
Yeah.
dessert, Andrew?
Well, I didn't know if this question was based on the movie, but also we don't necessarily have. Sometimes it's good stuff they get, but sometimes it's just like if there's like
Right.
a pie or something, it's just a generic pie they bring, that you would assume is homemade from the character. But if we're just talking about favorite desserts, my favorite, I have to say, like cobblers or
Mm.
an apple crisp or something. That's my go to, like ice cream with apple crisp or something, like warm in the cold. And I do like cheesecake, but cheesecake is like a once in a year thing. Like I don't, you have a cheesecake and you're paying for it for the next week.
Oh,
It's like sits in your stomach like a brick. And I
it's like
and I'm,
sugar
I'm really
and
careful.
cheese
Pardon me?
and dairy. It's like sugar
Yeah,
and
like the
dairy.
whole, yeah. So like you said, I am a like a piece of dark chocolate kind of guy midday, or like or I'll put it in my coffee. I'll put a piece of dark chocolate in my coffee.
That's delicious. Like an espresso with a piece of dark chocolate. That's delicious.
Exactly. And then
Mm-hmm.
that'll curb my sugar craving. When I'm in LA, if I have a sugar craving, I just have a beet juice. Funny enough,
Ooh,
and that totally takes it away.
Little West makes a great beet juice, guys. Just in case you were wondering, really excellent beet juice.
It does, yeah.
As your PR person.
Thanks,
Okay,
yeah. Thank you, Nikki.
I think we've made our way to the game.
We
I
have.
think we've okay. So since we've worked together before, we want to see how well we know one another with this rapid fire game of who's most likely to. Gosh, we're gonna kill this because we know this. For each one, let us know if Andrew or Nikki will most likely to. Oh, we did a couple of these.
We did.
Which one of us is most likely to do a TikTok dance challenge? My answer would be that if we're together, right? Like separately, we're probably not really going to do a TikTok dance challenge, but if we're together, it's like
Together.
full speed ahead.
Oh yeah, yeah, we'll do it, and we'll do it to the best of our abilities.
We kind of nailed the one that we really did. Like that was a first time like situation. We kind of nailed it.
Did
But
it go up? Were we able
no,
to?
but we have to post that. We have to post it.
Oh yeah, we do.
I just
Yes.
have to get back into my TikTok account.
Unbury mine as well.
All right. So, which one is most likely to put their sleuthing skills to test and solve a mystery out of the two of us?
You are, Nikki.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm like a detective in training. I also am obsessed about medical stuff. So like everybody, like my kids even call me Dr. Mom. And then my friends call me when they're having medical situations. And I can tell you, I will diagnose you. I will figure out like my kid, when the doctors couldn't figure out why his oxygen was dropping, we went home on oxygen. I figured it out. I was like, oh, he has something called laryngomalacia. It is the most random, but I sleuthed around and I found out what that is. I am a great sleuther.
You are.
Yes, I'm a great sleuther. Okay.
Yeah.
Which one is more likely?
I'll be like, oh, I'll figure that out. Oh, that's interesting. This happened, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, what's for lunch? And then just like.
No, you'll go. Nikki, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, Nikki will figure it out. Text me when you find out, okay? Text me when you find out.
Call me immediately. Who is more likely? This is all you. Who's more likely to cater an event? That's 100% you and your wife. Like, not me.
Yeah, I would say cater an event. I mean, I'd have to be with somebody, but I'm very happy entertaining for a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoy that. So
yeah, you guys are so good at that.
Food for me though.
Right, but you can organize the stuff. Like you know what people need. You know how to be a great host. You know how to do the whole thing. You and Cass are like so good at that. Like I forget to like order the food. Everybody would come over and I'd be like, oh God, I forgot the food. Okay, who's most
How about
likely
spend the evening baking?
It depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Like I will.
I'm not baking. I'm not spending the evening baking. That's for sure.
Yeah, I will. Like I will bake. Like right now on my counter, I have all my stuff out that I'm gonna make. I'm gonna make spaghetti. I'm gonna prep meat for tacos for the week. I'm gonna make energy balls, which do have many pieces of dark chocolate in them for the kids. And then I'm also going to make like a granola, like a really yummy olive oil granola. So I have all of that. And then I get in a zone. I put a podcast in and it's my happy place. Like when I'm in the kitchen and I am left alone that is like my happy place. I think Cass is like that too, right? Andrew, like when she gets the kids down, it's like her happy place, like after they're asleep to just be in the kitchen.
She could have a huge day, and the first thing she wants to do is just get in the kitchen and cook.
Yeah.
That's her therapy.
It is. It's like, it's so therapeutic. I don't know. There's something meditative about it. I love it. Yeah. I love it. Okay. So who's most likely to
choose chocolate for dessert?
That's you. 100%.
That's
like,
me.
That's 100%. I'm not going to ever order dessert. Who's most likely to pull a prank on set? Who do you think?
Who do you all think?
I think you and I are most likely to pull a prank together on other people.
Yeah.
Like, again, but it takes both of us.
That's a together thing. Yeah. It's a together thing.
Okay, who's most likely? This is 100% you. Have dinner at a fancy restaurant. That's you.
Oh man, I am bougie. I love fancy things. I love fancy restaurants, fancy hotels.
Yeah.
But I also like camping. So everything in between. But I gotta have a nice bottle of wine on a camping trip. But yeah, I'm definitely the one to go to a fancy restaurant.
Yeah, you and Cass, I'll usually ask, like, or I would text Cass and be like, what restaurants have you been to that's really good? I'm more likely to just fall asleep without dinner. And like pass out like in front of my computer without dinner. um, okay, next question. Oh,
That's
wrapping
it.
up. We're wrapping.
That's
Oh,
it. Wrap it
that's
up.
it. Okay, you guys. Thank you for joining us. We cannot wait for you to see this movie. I mean, lots of love was poured into it. Lots of joy. This is Tony's directorial debut. He has been the director of photography for like 20 something Hallmark movies. This is his first one he's gotten to direct. So we are stoked for him for that. It's a great cast. You know, we had incredible producers, our execs at Hallmark, you know, Heather, Brett, like they're incredible. We're just really excited for everyone to see this, and we hope we get to do many more for you guys. It's Curious Caterer, Dying for Chocolate.
Dying for Chocolate, yeah. And you can watch it on Sunday, April 10th, 9/8 Central, only on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. And we can't wait to hear your feedback.
Yes, and guys, we'll be tweeting. We'll be tweeting together. Tweet along with us using the hashtag Curious Caterer. Hashtag Curious Caterer.
Hashtag Curious Caterer. Yeah. Sunday, April 10th, 9/8 Central.
Yes, be there. Please watch it. Mwah. Thanks all for watching this today.
Thanks, everybody.